assume they're going to beat me up.
We are live on YouTube, and I didn't even know it. Better press record.
Right. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready either.
What the fuck?
So we're live. This week we're going to be talking about. We don't even know. We haven't even discussed it yet.
Well, I didn't even know it was live, mate. So
no, I didn't.
No.
That's fun. But before we get started, I suppose we better do our bit of housekeeping, because without our sponsors, this show wouldn't happen. Jamie,
I don't know if. Hang on, because I haven't pressed OK on the streaming, so it might not record.
It's gone chaos.
I weren't ready. I'd normally be set up on the other screen.
So then, I would like to do my one first.
Okie dokie.
Big shout out to Navitas. Now, Navitas are
I thought we'd change it. I thought we'd do like a big, changeover.
It's too late. It's already done, bruv.
No. I thought we would change the graphic. We would change the graphic, symbolically change the graphic.
So it used to be called Verso. They make the best pound for pound fuse boards and circuit protection gear in the UK right now. Pound for pound. That's my statement. I'll back it up. I'll go toe to toe with anyone on that statement. Pound for pound, it's the best gear in the UK right now. They have just changed their name to Navitas.
Ta-da!
So it's Navitas Circuit Protection, and they, pound for pound, are the #1 in the UK right now. For what they're throwing out there, for the price that they're priced at, the fact they're not just white labeled stuff, they are really good kit. And they've had a massive amount of investment lately. There's only good things coming from them. They're going to be the #1 circuit protection provider in the manufacturer in the UK at some point. I know they will. They are absolutely crushing it. So go and check them out. We're still versoelectrical.co.uk, soon to be Navitas.
Are you sure we're live? Because I can't find us on YouTube to find the chat.
We are.
Well, I can't find it on YouTube.
Well, I'm looking at it.
All right, no, we are there now. That's confusing. Don't know what. Have I been on holiday? What's going on? Chevron Arnu, providers of many high-quality settlements and shutters, such as power energy loggers. You know, if you want to work out, people come to go, how much energy does this use? How much does my house use? How much energy am I using? Why is my energy bill so high? They sell something that will tell your customer that, and you can charge them to do that. You can make some money by doing that. They also do analyzers, because when your charge is cutting off at night or something stupid like that, you can deal with that and all that gubbins. My promise to you is you will get the service that I receive if you try them out. So if you're in the market from test gear, you want to try out something new, or you need something to do something, give them a shout and they will tell you if you can do it. No doubt they'll come and show you how it works, and then they'll flog you on, and then they'll support you with it for the lifetime. Well, not your lifetime, because the instrument will probably last longer. But yeah, give them a try. They help us put out this carnage on a weekly basis.
Is Jamie suffering with hay fever or drug abuse?
I've just been banging out some lines and blow up a table next to me. Sorry.
Not allowed to talk about stuff like that. What would our sponsors say?
YouTube don't know what blow means, do they? Or do they?
Anyway, so what are we talking about tonight? What's the news saying?
News graphic.
We literally didn't have any conversation before. We've literally just launched straight into it.
You know, where's the VT? You know what the annoying bit is as well is I had no idea I had or looked like I had hay fever until I sat in front of this camera and I looked at myself and went, oh, I look shit. Anyway, so what it does prove is that
I look particularly good this week. And I've got a little bit of a tan coming from today. Do you know what I mean? I've just been out there fixing the truck all day. So all I do is clean and fix that truck at the moment. It's driving me wild.
How much that costing fuel to fix that?
Well, it's just me taking off panels and sorting out stuff inside. It doesn't cost me anything.
Taking stuff out from behind the panels inside. You live near Dover?
No, taking the panels.
My nose looks like this.
Like changing the colour, stuff like that. Just stupid shit that you shouldn't be doing, but I do.
Smuggler Sam, he's been moving gear around in his van.
Stop talking about things like that.
Like what? YouTube don't know that, does it? Does it? Well, YouTube.
Not YouTube. It's just the general conversation is not necessary.
The AI will work it out.
It will.
Shall I do the news?
Go on.
Can't remember what order to put it in, so when I press this button, we're all going to find out what it is. It's that dodgy plumber. I missed this one because I was on holiday, even though I thought it out. Yeah, you know the dodgy plumber who was like going on his holier than how, You read the news for it. Are you bonkers?
What?
2 weeks ago, you read the news for this. The dodgy plumber that was nicking all the stuff from that cipher.
No, can't remember.
The plumber that was always. Are you mad? Do you watch this podcast?
No, I just take part.
Cypher, the plumber, Decipher, whatever he's called, the plumber, the holier than thou plumber who was always banging on about.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. I can't remember what his crime was.
Walked across water and, I don't know, walked across raw sewage, saved young mums from the scrap heap, whatever it was. It turned out it was a massive conman. As we said on the show, always do your due diligence, yeah? And I did a few times, like, this fucking plumber going around giving the bigger on how great he is. You just think, is it a scam or what? And it turns out it was. Anyhow, people have now been trudging for all his tweets and everything and getting stuff on him. And here he is, selling his own personal car for £16,000 so he can use it to combat food and electricity and gas losses to poor people. Turns out the car was owned by the company and he bought it with all the money he robbed from it. It only happens to plumbers. If you get what I'm always sure that people like that are too good to be true. You know what I mean? It also looked like a right scruffy bastard. Just very worried. But then again,
well, probably lives next door to you.
That's what plumbers look like, isn't it? I suppose. But yeah, just an update. That's an update on a story that we'd already covered, which I thought was quite nice, just to get us flowing. But yeah, basically, the moral story is you can't trust plumbers at all, even if they are corky registered, whatever it's called this week. Number 2, one particularly close to my thing. This is down your patch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just up the road, Gillingham.
Gillingham. Couldn't even Gillingham. I don't know how you pronounce it. So, I keep hearing about this, and I'm keen to hear if anyone that's getting this.
8 years.
8 years to finish his apprenticeship. I'm going to come to a story about training.
He's been doing his apprentice, man and boy.
He's just qualified. He's now 63. There's no staff, and I put this out on my Instagram, and it says if anyone else having similar problems at their college, let me know. I got a message. I won't name any names just yet, so I haven't verified it, but allegedly, someone at the college says, our college just took on a new lecturer. He's an electrician, but he's just helping out for now until he's finished his MVQ level 3. He's just helping out as a lecturer, as a teacher, until he's finished his MVQ level 3.
It must be tough times as teachers then. Like, I've seriously been considering maybe doing a little bit of teaching just because I can't get enough work at the moment to tide me over, mate. And so it'd be like a couple of days a week. Because if you can go and become a teacher, if you haven't even got your level 3,
no, you can't. You've got to the minimum. So I get emails because I'm on the books of quite a few teaching people. At the moment, they're quite desperate. And the email you get is, do you fancy trying teaching or something to that kind of vein? It'll say, all you need is your MVQ level 3, which is true. All we need is your MVQ level 3 to be an electrician and to have some experience. The one thing you do really need is you need to be able to teach and engage with people, which is the hard bit to get.
Do that easy.
As I've alluded to, we're now getting to the stage where after Part P being X amount of years ago, we've had a load of people come through that have got to be a Sparky under that banner, and now we've got the blind leading the blind. And Mark Allison will tell you he's put out stories. Training courses are getting easier. I've seen various people on LinkedIn who work in training moaning that courses are getting easier. Sitting Guilds thinned out the EV course recently to make it easier. They're getting shallower and easier to pass. And it's a shame, really, because we're losing skills hand over fist. And when you've got people like this taking 8 years to finish apprenticeship at a college, it's absolutely ridiculous. So if you're
does it say why?
Because he went through that many teachers, apparently.
4-year apprenticeship at Kent College and full-time job. Oh, it doesn't really say.
Basically, the one thing I know what people are thinking, the guy's a dickhead. Well,
yeah, he is.
When I did my research, right, the guy has worked for one employer for the entire duration of that time, and his employer's been ringing up constantly moaning. So I've not spoke to him, but I don't think he's that. It can't be that bad if his employer's not dicked him off after 8 years. But if anyone's got the gen on it, let me know. I'm just generally looking to training.
But can you imagine that? Like, hold on a minute as well. You know when they say you need to have your MVQ level 3, that's what I've never really understood is, right? Can you just do an MVQ level 3 without doing the city and guilds bit?
Let me cut a long story short, tell you how you can be a trainer, yeah? In anything. You can go into a course. This is wrong, by the way. This has changed, but this is how I remember it happening, yeah? You go to a course called Petals. It's referred to as Petals. It's something about teaching course. That course allows you to teach anything you're qualified in. Basically, this has all been thin right down. Yeah. So you get an MVQ level 3 in electrical engineering or plumbing or whatever. You go and do your petals, then you can teach it. I did mine years ago. Then you can teach it if you're qualified in it. So I know health and safety people, for example, that teach safety passport, how to drive a cherry picker, how to drive a digger, blah, 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 because they've done those courses. And that's it. So you do a course that you can teach, you do a course that you can do, a course for teaching, then you go and deliver it. But that's the problem they're not getting those people through. There used to be a natural progression of people into teaching through the trade when they get bad knees and stuff. That's not happening nowadays, I believe.
Interesting.
Mark Allison will give you the gen up on it. He'll correct me or something like that at some point. I'll let you know. But we are going to cover more training-based stories because it's becoming such a shithole.
It is really bad. Apparently, bad. Like the training is really bad at the moment because they can't get staff. But I suppose we're going to talk about this a bit later.
We are, because we've got a story about my training.
I don't believe there's a skill shortage. I just don't, because there's not enough work to go around as it is.
Yeah,
so
but
where's the skill shortage if there ain't enough work?
I'll cover this now. Yeah, you're discovering this. You think there is a skill shortage, but there's not enough work to go around because everyone's lingering around the bottom. So Sparkies to bash asses a 10 a penny. Sparkies that are more design, consultation, supervisory aren't there because the people that are hanging around the bottom, clogging it all up, don't want to go up because they're underqualified to move up the ladder. Basically, they're scared.
Yeah, I don't know if that's strictly true. If they're underqualified,
that's my opinion. They're scared.
I think there's some of that, but I also think there's some of it is the fact that the training to move to the next level, and
it's beyond
the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting paid that much more. You get a lot more pressure. Then you get a lot more business needs type shit where you've got to work for free for a couple of hours a day and shit like that because you've got to put in the overtime. That's what's expected in the office. And all of a sudden, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth moving up to that middle management level.
That is true. At my last firm, I was on top whack as an engineer when I worked for someone last POA job. And they went, "Oh, you could be a supervisor or manager," and make more. I was like, "Well, I'm the top engineer. Why do I want to go and be a manager? Like, pay me more. Like, if you want engineers to do engineering jobs, pay us more." They go, "Oh, we can't pay more than managers." Like, well, I do more work than manager. You need me more than manager, but they have these scales, don't they, where you hit one thing, you have to move to the rear. So that don't help. But
that's what I'm saying. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze at the moment. I don't think there's enough money. Like the jump from hanging around at the bottom to middle management is worth it. And you've experienced that. I've experienced that. I could go and be a supervisor. I've done it. I've done it last year, doing all the supervising and stuff. It's just not worth it, really. It's all right. You don't have to do as much graft, but the pressure for an extra 20 quid a day or 25 quid a day, is it worth it? Not really. Not really at all.
Is if someone asks me to supervise a job and I get my staff, I get people I know in, I'll do that because I can bring people I know to do say the job work I do. If I get chucked on a a generic supermarket job and I'm getting sparks that don't know what they're doing coming through, like 10p ball of the bag sparks, it's going to be like trying to stick a bit of wet spaghetti up a cat's arsehole, isn't it? And I won't want to be there, even though I know what I'm doing. I don't want to be there with a load of semi-skilled twats,
I don't care.
Basically.
I don't care. I don't compete with them.
No, but if that's what you've got to, if you get given 10 of them to manage and you can't get them to do the work, that's a stressful supervisory role. If you've got 10 excellent sparks, you're going to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're just going to run themselves.
What's the next bit of news?
Well, you bored out, aren't you?
No, it's more of the conversation that we're going to have later.
We have a rule on this podcast, yeah? No religion, no politics, no artisan. No, no. But I'm going to make an exception for this one, yeah? Not on the political side of on that though, but Labour say they're going to create a firm called GB Energy, and it's going to be a public entity that's going to run. They say, I don't want to jump on a thing there, but they say it's going to be an electricity firm, which sounds like the old electricity board. It's going to be a publicly owned electricity firm, and I don't think it means anything. I think it's just a name because I like the idea of the people, the government, the company, the country owning our national infrastructure. But I'm afraid, in my opinion, it's just too far gone. We're not going to buy it all back. It's all gone.
So
I'm not sure where this sits.
If they do it and run it like a business, they put a proper businessman in charge, a proper businessman who's got like a proper provenance of turning companies around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Proper guy who goes in, turns companies around and builds them into billion-dollar companies. That's what you need to be in that sort of role. You can't have your mate from Eton who's highly qualified and everything you need to be, but with no real world experience going in there and trying to do it. They won't succeed.
I missed the trick here because you don't really know about this. What is it going to do? You tell me, Sam. What is this energy firm going to do?
I don't know, manage the infrastructure.
No, because that's done by National Grid. We're never going to afford to buy that back. So what are they going to do?
Uh be in charge of buying the energy.
That is, they could set up a company and they could buy energy off existing people and sell it. Like Robin Hood Energy, that the Labour Council Nottingham that went bust. It cost us 35 million quid. They could do that. They could buy energy and sell it on. What they're going to really struggle to do is they're not going to distribute it because that's National Grid's job. They're not going to they're not going to transmit it because that's National Grid's job. They're not going to distribute it because that's the DNO's job. Your Western Powers and Southern Power.
They're not going to sell it to the.
They could sell. They could be a seller. Like they could be like a version of Octopus. They could be like a version of SSE and the other one, Eon. They could, in theory,
they couldn't be though. They couldn't be though. They
no, they could.
never compete. They'd never
could,
compete.
But they don't not compete. But they could set that system up. They also could build a power station and then build another one and then build another one. But I can't see it happening. So I don't want to get up with it. I just can't see this working. It's just a quango.
So I've got a friend, right? And he turns companies around, and he built a company, a data center company, and it was a one data center in the middle of a field in Guildford. It's now a international group of data centers that houses national infrastructure, all that good stuff. And he built that from nothing. So could someone like him take over GB Energy, use the government funding, spend it properly, like take his team from the data centers, take on this challenge and turn building power stations and creating national infrastructure? Could he do that? I think he could. Will they put someone like him in that and focus like that? I doubt it, because what you got to remember is the government is completely a bunch, and this is both sides. It's not Labour, like anyone in Westminster,
isn't it? It's just civil servants.
All have slopey shoulders. Yes. So if they think it's going wrong at some point, there's slopey shoulders and shit rolls downhill, and they just pass the blame off. It's a thankless job to take that on, and no one in their right mind would want to work with the government on anything.
To be fair, generally electricity is quite well run because the infrastructure is worth billions. So if you've got a power station, you can look after it so you can sell it. So the companies have got their own interests at heart when they maintain a power station. You want to keep electricity flowing, yeah. National Grid have to maintain the power lines. It's pretty well maintained, to be fair. There's a lot of very clever engineers doing it. They can't get enough. If we flip it, stop talking about this one and go to the water, as everyone knows, a lot of the water companies, they're pumping raw sewage out, have been mismanaged, yeah. They've been bought out by Saudi investment firms, my local one, Severn Trent, Saudi investment firms. They've borrowed money off the government, paid out dividends, and absolutely rinsed everything. They're going to go bust. The problem is they still got billions of pounds worth of infrastructure, so they've still got a value. So even if Thames Water, which is on the verge of bankruptcy right now, goes bankrupt, it's still going to have a billion-pound value, and the government can't afford to buy it back and nationalise it. It's crazy. It's too big to fail as a private company. So even if Labour get in and give it the old Labour thing and go, we're going to buy it back, they can't afford to. So just be careful. These are very complicated beasts that because a lot involved.
One of the things is you quite over the last year or so, you've explained how the electricity companies work. Well, how the National Grid work. We're
going to do a whole show on it at some point.
Because the National Grid are in charge of the infrastructure,
transmission,
and then you have like a number of companies that produce the electricity,
the generators.
So you would have thought that National Grid generate the electricity, but they don't. No. It's like the offshore turbines aren't owned by National Grid, are they? They're owned.
No, they're not. No,
they're owned by a company.
Anyone could get a grid connection to pump electricity onto that grid.
And then they sell it based on the supply and demand at the time. Basically, like any sort of brokering, They sell it at supply and demand. So if it's at 2p a kilowatt or 50p a kilowatt, that's what they buy and sell. So there's this sort of
It's just commodity market, yeah.
This middleman entity that buys and sells, and then the distribution companies like your DNOs and that, they're the ones that sell it to the customer. So they buy it from the people who produce it and they sell it to the customer. I never knew that's how it worked before. I thought that the National Grid owned all of it, and then the DNO just bought off the National Grid.
Back in the day, it's like, for example, let me give you a prime example of how complicated this is, yeah? I always see people going, oh, 100%. Let's say, for example, it said 100% wind energy today or renewable energy today. And you're like, oh, well done. And they go, why is electricity not cheaper? We should be paying the price it costs to make it from solar. What they don't realise is let's say electricity is £1 a unit. Yeah. Let's just say it's £1 a unit for a nice round figure. Yeah. But the wind turbine's making it for 10p. And the people that are selling it sell it for 20p. So everyone goes, oh, it should be 20p a unit. What they don't realise is, depending on wind conditions, you've got to pay someone to back that wind up. So a company, maybe like the one I last worked for, no non-compete anymore, they'd go, you know what, we'll back you up and we'll charge you 50 pence a kilowatt, a megawatt. But we want the money whether you use it or not. So your 20p electricity is now 70p. And that happens. That's how it works.
There's so many layers to it. And I never knew that's how it worked. I thought the UK as an entity owned all of the turbines, power stations, and everything like that. And then like Octopus and that, they just buy it off of them. And there's a whole market really doesn't.
So we're going to do a proper show on it, but there's like a whole market for a thing called STOR, STOR, short-term operating reserve. That's the electricity people have to buy, whether they use it or not, just in case the wind stops or the sun gets cloud. Yeah. Because if you say I'm going to give you 10 kilowatts from my solar farm, you've got to give 10 kilowatts from somewhere. So if you spend all day making 7, some generator somewhere is running to make the other 3. But yeah, it's a beast. But just be aware of this. Not the gas, electricity, water, airports, fuel pipelines. Yeah, they're not getting renationalised anytime soon because the government, the country cannot afford to buy them back to the people.
Could they like the government could just go, well, we're taking it back. Now, fuck off.
They could requisition it, yeah, if there was a war on. Or something like that. But if they just did, if Labour, so let's say the Monster over Luna Park come and go, we're requisitioning all this, there'd be no investment, there'd be no money, there'd be no pot, they get sued. It'd just be carnage. You can't just eat like Thames Water's prime example, yeah? If they go bust tomorrow, which they're getting close to, allegedly,
and Southern Water.
Southern Water or Thames Water, whichever one, both of them, yeah? You can't just go in and go, oh, we'll have it back, because the value of the pumping station land, one little pumping station, the value of the scrap and the land could be worth millions. But then it's a going concern. You've got to buy it. The liquidator will sell it back to the government at a reasonable rate. Because some business might buy it and actually make it work properly and make money. So it's not like when something becomes bust, everything is free. If what me or you went bankrupt, we wouldn't just give away all the tools, would we? They're assets. So nationalisation that Labour are pumping out and some other parties are pumping out, like the Greens, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, be aware of these funny headlines.
Is that the news or is there more?
That's the news as a feature. We're going to do this. Hang on. You'd not be Phil now. We're a bit AFib tonight. Right then. This one went out, didn't it? Damn, the electrician not feeling very well. I've not been here since this went out. This got a big old pump. Nah. If you have donated to this, you are officially a friend of the show for 6 months, and we cannot go against you. So if we do, ring us up and let us know. I want to read them all out. Mohammed Norat, Liberato de Greco, sounds foreign, he does. Anonymous, whoever you are. Charlie Gallick, Leslie Twitchen, Stephen Jenkins, Gary Larkham, John Sutton, Michael Meyer, Moss Chowdley, Eddie Clements, Anonymous. Anonymous has put 3 goes in now. That's nice, isn't it? Claire Reeve, Joe Fitz, Bradley Chin, Rosico Sparks, Alan Chan, Anonymous again, fucking Anonymous. Is even who what's it called? Paul Tripe, Jay Harding, John Reefer.
Oh, is he? He's the one who got touched by Jordan.
I think so, yeah. Murray McGowan, Muzzer, Sean Callow, Jamie Blayton, Julian Grant, Kip Hawks, Ryan Fuller, Anonymous again, Brett Cotter, Sam Featherstone, James Bowen, Linda Meth, what a name, bit of meth. Jack Rivens, Jody Robbins, Michael Scott, Richard Smith, David John Savory, don't forget his middle name, Vander Monk. Sorry, foreign name person here. Vander Munker, I think. Anonymous again. Joshua Park, only once, whereas Anonymous has put in about 10 times. Robert Lees, Richard Hammer, Chris Baxter, Anonymous again. William Reynolds, Ben Freeland, Ashley Guest, Gabor Couson, Mr. Alex Turner, John Bagley, Richard Cockline, Craig Boost, Mark Allison, and Nick Bundy. Thank you very much for supporting that. We really appreciate it. I'm sure Dan will as well. And if you do feel like pumping some more into that, just to top it up to the figure, this
not done bad. Not done bad. It'd be nice to see that. It'd be nice to see.
Good little bit of community. Obviously, if you put into that, you might get recognised more likely in the Christmas in our annual awards ceremony. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, the link will be in the show notes. But yeah, cheers for everyone who's done into that. Thought it was a really good community shout. A lot of the usual players in there. So yeah, cheers very much.
So, also
did a nice bit, didn't we? Isn't that nice? Isn't it nice to do something nice every now and again? Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
The merch has dropped. I've just dropped it.
I ain't got. You didn't give me. I ain't got a merch VT ever.
I know. I can't believe I did that.
Put it right on the list. Put that on the list of things to do. We'll have a merch VT.
Well, no, it's only out for 48 hours. So you got 48 hours to get your Shall I just send it to you now?
What? While we're on here?
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you now.
Yeah, fuck it, while we're on here. You could have done it while I read that massive list of names out, couldn't you? But you didn't.
I know.
Dave Savery, you're in charge of getting that link into the chat if you can as well for us. Cheers.
Is that going to
Ready to tell boring
It's there, look. It's there.
Oh, has he done it?
Yeah. I've just done a screenshot. So, I'm sorry, guys, tonight. This is a really bad podcast. However...
you know what? The bad ones, they're the ones that come out the best.
No, they're not.
They sometimes are.
So, we've got 2 T-shirts going out today. One is the Wanking Chair Company T-shirt.
Sounds like... Who invented that? Sounds like a great idea.
So many lunatics have been asking for this. I don't know why on earth you would even want this. But, so that's gone live. Wanking Chair Company T-shirt. And the Safe Isolation or Natural Selection T-shirt's gone live. So, go and check them out. It's a 10-day...
Savory, don't waste your money on merch. Savory, stop it.
I'm going to do one just specially for him called Hager said I'm a drunken wanker. I know, a drunken idiot, I think they called him. But other than that, what are we talking about tonight, Jamie?
I was just going to, we thought we'd just have a chat because I've been away. Someone threatened to sue me. I was going to talk about
a job threatened to sue you?
I put it on LinkedIn, right? Just go in there, always straight away. I got 2 stories. One's about
Don't forget to put this up, though.
Oh, you haven't sent it to me. That's why I'm trying to do it. That's why I'm trying to wink at you and get acknowledgement off you in the background. It's not come through on the thinger.
Yes, it has.
Did you send it to WhatsApp?
No, I sent it on Signal.
It's not come through. It's not there. It hasn't at my end. I don't know what's going wrong. If it pops up, I'll change it. We'll do the merch in a bit. You should have thought about it beforehand. But yeah, what are we on about? Someone suing me.
Why?
Why do people... I put this on LinkedIn and the quote I put was really good. I might read the post out that I put because it just seems to me like you live your life like you only want Sam to fill for you for about 5 to 10 seconds and just nothing happens. And we had such a gelling thing. Let me go on here. I could have put the post with thought about it, but we're just having a chit chat tonight. I'll let this out. Nothing strikes fear into companies like independent review. If a company's paying someone to say their stuff is great or saying it themselves, they'll shout about it and post it from anything they can do, yeah? But if you're independent, like I consider myself to be quite independent, I'm a strong independent boy. If you just say, I think that's a bit of a shit idea, or that's not true, or that's wrong, firstly, I threatened to get sued, legal action. I was just like, shut up, you fucking melt. And then once he realised that I weren't bothered about the threats of legal action, he started threatening to come around my house and kick the fuck out of me. I thought it was quite nice. Kept asking me for my address. I'm not going to name who it was. Solid state battery man. Well, I'm fucking not that bothered, am I? I actually ended up reporting to the police because I was getting that bored of it. But like, some people are just fannies, mate. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was saying he's got a solid state battery.
Right.
So, what's that battery you talk about in here sometimes?
Don't know. Give energy?
No, the battery you
talk about. Oh, lithium ion?
No, the one that's not real. The one you say when they invent this battery, gold summit battery or something, did you say?
No, diamond nano.
Diamond nano battery, right? Which is a concept, but
nuclear diamond battery or something like that.
Something like that. It's a concept, but not actual thing. There's another one called solid state batteries. They don't exist.
That's it. They do exist.
No, Samsung have been trying to make one for years, and as our
I bet you they do exist.
They don't exist.
I bet you they do,
but they don't.
Right, they do.
No, people say they've got them, but they're not truly solid state batteries. More of a marketing vibe. Anyway,
no, they will. They are. They have got working prototypes of them. Trust me.
A prototype.
Don't say prototype like I'm talking nonsense.
Well, this guy trying to fuck people choosing their asses, and I was like, "That's bollocks. They don't exist for that at that level yet." And he's like, "I'll sue you." I was like,
"No, they definitely don't exist at that level yet." No.
I was like, "He says I'll sue you." Like, get in the queue, mate. Like, take a ticket, wait your turn. Then when I just basically went on about being sued, he just started threatening to come around my house and slap me silly.
Well, I think he should. I would quite like to see that, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. If you can find where I live, come on down. Like I
said, listen, if you message me, I will send you Jamie's address.
And then we'll both be the way. But yeah, I was like, what is it with people being such a bunch of fucking fannies? Like, there's no opinion now. People, it's not the first time someone's tried to sue me because I've given me an opinion on a product. And you're like, are you fucking mad, mate?
So like, this is something I wanted to get onto today, actually, is it's funny. Our podcast is, I likened it on Twitter today. This podcast is like the child the industry never wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
have you noticed that everyone's bringing out a podcast, but they're all wanking, no one watches them? Like,
well, it's not just that.
Got one. Electrical Contracting News have got one. Someone else has got one. And you're like, we're here not giving a fuck an hour a week. We're the big boys.
It's yeah, but like,
great.
None of the actual electrical bodies, anyone in industry, no one wants to sponsor us. No one wants
to be the podcast for electricians. They want to be the industry podcast.
Yeah. And it's like, unless you toe the line, you say what people say, you can't come out of any controversial things. You're like, just because we give actual opinions or like our own opinions of working in the industry, we're quite lowly thought of in the industry.
We know this because the majority of the adverts we got offered us for socks, which is not a true story.
Ridiculous.
Like, when Chevron knocked on the door, we're like, "Are you fucking mad? Have you seen what we do?" Like, did we have to say to them, "Can you go and watch at least 2 of the podcasts?" Did we have to say to someone once, "Can you please go and watch at least 2 of the podcasts, then come back to us?" And they just never come back.
Yeah.
Except for Chevron
that has happened more than once.
Except for Chevron Arnu, Bosch, and of course Versa, whose graphic ain't loaded properly yet. Those still sponsors for some unknown reason. But yeah, people don't like it. It's like, I've noticed this week, Electrical Contracting News got a podcast. Napier have got one. NIC got, and they're just fucking garbage. Like, they're not listenable. Like, if you're totally techie, yeah, but it's like, just, you support electricians, be for electricians.
And the thing is, yeah, but it's not, I don't care about if they're listenable or not. I don't care if there's 50 podcasts in the industry. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, isn't it weird that you can't give your own opinion on the industry you work in without being labelled like,
yeah,
whatever we're labelled as? I don't even know what we're labelled as.
Isn't it weird that you want to be in an industry and you want to do a podcast because you do, but you don't want it to appeal to the very people that prop up the companies that you do?
Yeah.
But you don't want to swear or be controversial or anything, when in fact, most electricians that would actually bother about it would be listed on the front face. That's what they're actually like. So yeah, it's a bit offensive going, "Oh, we want to do a podcast for electricians. Shall we try and appeal to electricians?" No, we shouldn't do that because they're fucking scum.
I know. I just don't get it. I honestly don't get why. It's a funny old industry. Like, I can't send these pictures of the merch.
It's golf club, isn't it? Like, if you're not, I'm afraid, like, for years gone by, and like I said, I've been in the NIC, I've been in the ECA, been in NAPIT, very much like a golf club. Like, if your face don't fit, you're out. The problem is, then the internet came along, and your face can't fit. You can go and start a podcast, can't you? And fuck them all off. Yeah, you should be asking these people, going, "You know, the NIC, I'm giving you money, just for as an example. I'm giving you money and you spend a load of it on a podcast, but your podcast is garbage and doesn't appeal to anyone except people you're trying to suck off. Why can't you spend my membership money on maybe, I don't know, chasing down people that do shit work or something like that? Why are you spending
that's
in the
another
podcast?
thing. It's like we were talking about this last week. Like Savo loves the NIC.
And Dick.
He does as well. I just find the industry very odd at the moment. It's very odd. It's like it's always been stuck 20 years back in the past, but at the moment it's not really moving forward. They're sort of everyone's still quite.
Hang on, Alan Chan. He can't get any merch because his van got broken into, and he's had to cancel his card. Alan Chan, I will buy you a T-shirt. Message me what size you want. I'll get you one because you gave me a dig out, didn't you, with that meter? So I owe you one. So yeah, ping us that over, mate. I'll get you one of them.
Yeah,
that's two nice things on a show. Fucking hell, it's almost like we're supporting the people we present to be supporting, but never mind.
Anyone with a podcast with Mr. Valentino yet? No, they haven't. Opinions.
We've asked him. We've asked. You would not believe in the. I don't know if it's turned into a background podcast, but you wouldn't believe the amount of people we've asked on who just then go no.
Yeah.
So Battery Man, who threatened to sue, was like, "Come on the podcast and you can come on and advertise your batteries to everyone." No.
Yeah.
James Valentino, come on and advertise your fucking dog shit fucking university con for tradesmen. No. Because they can't control our narrative, you see. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. It's not like, all right, we swear, but most electricians swear. We call out companies when they're being dickheads.
But that includes our sponsors, by the way. They don't get immunity. Like if
there's no immunity, if I bought a fuse board off of Navitas and it was, I don't know, come dented and all that, and then it was like, well, just get on with it. I'd be like,
will it be on here?
Pulling them out.
It'd be on here. And also, I've done it with Chevron. I got a tester off them and it broke. And I said it broke. Just broke within a couple of days. They got me a new one. I told the story like they don't control us. They pay us to read, but they ain't got immunity, which makes them extra brave. So you should be very I'll be very happy to buy either of those products because I'm pretty sure they must be happy with them. Otherwise, sponsors because they know they could have it coming. But yeah,
so I find all that a bit strange. Big topic this week though is it like I know I've been going on about this for a little while, but has work slowed down for most people at the moment?
We've spoke about this on the phone, so I'll do a bit of filling while the chat gets involved in that question you just asked because I've not got going. It's not. I've got going. I've been pretty steady. I've lost some work this week, which I'm going to come to. But you had this conversation on Friday. I was like, oh, I'm pretty busy. Then you said, what you got next week? I was like, oh, nothing. I just realised I weren't busy as I was driving home. But I've heard a few people say it.
Yeah, I just think like I've gone from having like maybe 1 or 2 phone calls a day to 1 or 2 phone calls a week, and I'm sort of having to really hustle at the moment.
I'll tell you, I'll do my story about this work thing while we get some feedback in the chat, yeah, because that'll be interesting to look at what people are saying. So when you rang me, I think we spoke about this because we speak on the phone like 2 married old couple a week. I'd got 3 weeks of training booked in, and I was like, I'll call and booked up when I get off holiday for the next 3 weeks. That's really nice. It's a nice feeling to have, isn't it? Sure, anyone who's in the chat and you would agree that, like, when you're coming back off holiday and you got 3 weeks work booked in,
lovely.
PAYE as well, so it's going straight into my bank. I go worry about the books or anything like that. Really, really nice. So I was doing some work for a company. The company I was training for, not got a problem with them. Yeah, they've been fantastic. The agency that I was working through, the guy that got me in there, he was also fantastic, very well organised, nice guy. But the contract got moved to this other guy. Anyway, he booked me in for some work. It was at a customer's, so it was directly at a customer's for the trainer I was working for. And on the Friday, he emailed him, says, are we good for the week? I'm going away next week. Are we good for the Monday? Yeah, is it all confirmed? It's like, yeah, it's all confirmed. Everything's going away. Get your timesheet and all that kind of stuff. The company that I was doing the training for sent me the slides. And obviously, I then go away on holiday. I don't know if you know now, but you can use your mobile phone abroad. Is everyone aware of this? You can use your mobile phone, get your emails and that. There's a thing called Wi-Fi. So I weren't uncontactable, but I wanted it all squared away before I went away. Gets back on the Monday, bank holiday. Comes down to the office, gets some of stuff for teaching native English course, gets everything squared away. Nothing's going off, no comms, nothing. So I'm like, rock up there. Gets there for 8 o'clock to get myself settled in for a 9 o'clock start. Guy's like, no, you're not on the list of people coming here, mate, today. I was like, I definitely am. I've been booked in. I've got the email here. He's like, you're definitely not on our list. And he goes, at this location, everything goes for our list. Goes into the car park. Couldn't ring the agency, no answer. Rang the company that I'm working for. Oh no, it got cancelled. Did you not get told? We told the agency on Thursday.
That's a murder.
I've drove an hour and a half. Like, but don't worry, because shit happens. Yeah, shit goes wrong. So I was like, right, no problem. I'll just go back to the office and get some work done down there. So he gets back to the office, like emails there. Can you ring me about this because it's a bit of a problem? Ignored me all day.
Yeah.
Finally rang him 4 times, and he rings me back in the afternoon about 4:30. It's like, I was like, did you not think just drop me an email or a text message or a WhatsApp or a carrier pigeon or a little call or anything? He's like, yeah, sorry, mate, I did get told on Thursday, but I forgot. And at this point, I was like, I'm getting.
Yeah, but this is agencies. This is what agents like. I don't know what you expect from agencies. This is what they've always been.
Like
they've
saying
always...
the agency, I don't deal with it. I have to look past the agency and deal with the person. Yeah. So the guy before it was brilliant. This guy's like, yeah, he's like, sorry, mate, I just forgot. He's like, I forgot to ring you on Thursday or email you. So I meant to ring you on Friday, then I forgot. Then it was the weekend. I'm like, my phone's on 24/7, mate. You could have rang me Monday morning, could have rang me Tuesday morning. But anyway, this didn't happen. So I ended up back in the office. Then got a call to go to Scotland again. So I went up there. And I basically, they rang me up and I was like, I says, who's going to pay? And he went, well, we might be able to pay for your fuel. I'm like, but you've booked me for 3 days and confirmed it. He's like, oh, well, we can't pay you for work you haven't done. I was like, it's not work I haven't done because I was ready and confirmed to do it. So like, who's going to pay? He says, oh, well, I had to speak to him about that. And I was like, you know what? You're not going to pay me. He's like, probably not. So I went, right, you know, the work we've got booked in like all next week, the week after, 2 or 3 weeks in the future, because don't worry about any of it. I'm not doing any of it. Just put the phone down on him because I can't be working with people like that.
This is the problem. And again, so that was teaching, wasn't it?
Yes, that was teaching. Straight nice PY money in the bank. And it's fucked me up. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not, I can't afford to let like 3 weeks work go. But one, I can't afford to let 3 weeks work go. I was looking forward to it as well because it would get me back into it. And, but I can't afford to let the work go. I've had to fill the gap, which I need to do now. But likewise, I'm not going to stand to be fucked around at that level. So it's no wonder they can't get people to do teaching jobs because I won't allow myself to be fucked around to that standard. That's grade A fuckery, that is.
Yeah, do you know what? That's just part and parcel of dealing with agencies. I've done it for many years. You could turn up to a job, they've overbooked the job just in case someone don't turn up. So these things happen all the time, man. My thing is the domestic, like, so a couple of people in here saying they're getting a lot of work in like renewables, but not so much in terms of the domestic side.
What's renewables? We ought to do a podcast. We ought to do a podcast on that. If loads of people get work.
I know, right? It's just driving me mad.
Hey! No one would ever know that I was in the background. I just in the merch, putting the merch up. So there's the merch. You can see it all there now.
So that is our merch. Leave that up. That is the merch that is available now for 48 hours.
Work has slowed in Kent. That's where you are, isn't it?
Yeah, work's slowed down. Huge reg.
Always get Kent and Essex mixed up because they're both absolute shitholes. So I always find it hard to differentiate between the two.
How rude. Yeah, I don't know what to do about the work. I took out an ad in the community ads, like, you know, the little newspaper things that go around, the little magazines and that. I've took out an ad in that. I've upped my social media game. Don't know, man. I might need to have to go and get my solar done or something.
We said we'd talk about it just to get the general feel, because as I alluded to before, it can be geographical. Like, is it busy in one place, not in the other? But this slowdown in work that I'm seeing, I'm not basing this on what I'm doing there, because I sort of fit between one thing and the other. But obviously, Sam's quite solid in what he does, and some of the people I see online are quite solid in what they do in the way they work. Did the politics again? Did the announcement of the election slow it down, or is that going to wobble people a little bit?
I don't know. Maybe it's a time of year, people going on holiday. I do believe it's the cost of living. So 3 years ago, the extra 500 quid that you would have left over for the month and stuff, it's all being net up now. So people don't have the reserves that they used to have to be able to go and get work done. So to all the little jobs that they've been putting off, maybe having some outdoor lights ready for the summer, maybe some decking lights, I don't know, all that sort of stuff's not happening at the moment.
I think the election, stuff like that, wobbles people. Things just will stop. It may be even big projects as well, because like even at a council level, I think you know, if you're getting work through like councils and other government organisations, don't they like stop giving work out because their structure's going to change, isn't it, or could change? So maybe a council go, hang on, we'll not do that school refurb after the election. Now, we might be able to get more money. I don't know. It's just interesting on how that may work.
I think probably what I need to do is get my nappet sorted out and start doing EICRs. I really think that's got to be the way forward. Start trying to get some like estate agent work and stuff like that. Because I think that's probably what I need to be doing anyway, because then you get the remedials. But as far as just your basic house bashing, wait for the phone call from Bill and Jean down the road to come and fit some new sockets and stuff like that, it is as dead as a dodo out there.
I've got to find some work now. I mean, because I was the job what I did last week at Up Scotland will tide me over this week, but I've got a couple of things in the pipeline that are some of the jobs I do, and I'm sure like anyone will do it. Like, say you're putting out now, say you're putting a big cable in or put a big underground cable in or doing a solar farm job. There's a certain amount of to and fro in emails, planning, preparation, organisation, buying that happens before you start a job. I'm in the throw of that with a couple of jobs at the minute, but they're not actually been signed. The order's not signed, so I can divert it to them and get them where they want to be. But I could end up spending a load of time doing them and not get them. It could happen, but
one of the things I'm doing this week,
stitched up like that, like I've just lost 3 weeks' work. I'm a bit fuming about it still.
I'm actually going to go. There's quite a lot of farms around here. I'm just going to go door knocking, mate. I want to go down to the farms, have a chat with them, see if they need anything done. If they've already got an electrician, no problem. If he's busy, let me know. That sort of thing. I'm going to have to start canvassing like that.
The thing is, farms are the worst electrical installations going. Farms then.
I'm desperate to work on a farm. I'm not going to lie.
Licensed premises, like farms, are the worst places going. They are safety hellholes. They are kept because farmers just do everything for themselves, even if it's dangerous. So yeah, don't let me put you off doing it, but just
no, I desperately want to.
General rule: farms, licensed premises are the worst electrical installations going. Closely followed by.
I don't mind. I would love to. I would love to go and do some work on a farm. I don't know why. It's just something I want to do. So I think it's just about getting a bit creative in these tough times. Like, I don't know.
John's put there EICRs, which used to be a good little earner. They're just bottom feeding now because these big national companies who say we're doing for 85 quid, then they just submat someone who sign a certificate.
Yeah.
So like, but then again, you just sign certificates for them, then go bust. They can't chase, can they? But I've seen that. I've seen, who was it? Did we sit on here like or did someone sit on Instagram with like this a letting agent saying, "Oh, we'll do your ECIR and your gas check for 80 quid." You're splitting that between a gas man, electrician, taking your bit off the top and getting them done. Are you? I don't know how you can do that.
Well, do you know who's a beast and is Kimmy? She does really well with this sort of thing because she's also got her energy efficiency thing. I can't remember what they call that. So she does an EICR and does that as well. So that might only be 50 quid a property, but while she's doing an EICR, she can do the same thing. It's just it's a tick box.
Yeah. That's so it's worth her being there because she's got more strings to her bow.
Exactly. So she's more like people are going to use her more than someone. If you can do everything under one umbrella, it's a bit like Quinergy. That's what Quinergy does.
Yeah.
So he does the gas, he does the electrical, does it all under one roof. So someone just gives him 3 bits of work at one time. And
I tell you what, the thing with Quinergy is he is in Scotland, where I do believe, and I think I'd like to know from this is more tightly regulated.
I'm going to get it back on. I'm going to get it back on soon.
I think in Scotland, where he's at, it's more tightly regulated, so he probably does a proper. Or I think he does do a proper job, proper certification. Whereas down London, you get some letting agent going, "Oh, we do RCRs and gas checks." Who does them? Oh, Bob. Bob does both. Bob's done by 1 o'clock of the day. So wants to be in the boozer as well. So
it certainly is. Up in Scotland, they are a lot heavier legislated on who's an electrician, what an electrician is, what you have to do those certain things. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to call yourself an electrician. So yeah, you can't just have Bob doing it. And I wonder if it's the same as I wonder if it's the same in the gas industry. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to try and get Quinergy back on next week, actually, or the week after. I think his business model is incredible, and the way he's scaled it up over quite a quick period.
What actually does happen across the border? Like, how is it done? I don't,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if any Scottish people want to come in, if you speak good English and you want to come on and tell us what it's like being a Sparky across the border, come and let us know, because it'd be interesting to know what the difference actually are. So if you
no,
can
because
no.
I think in these tough times, if we have a few conversations with people who've built successful businesses, are still going through these tough times, they're the people we need to be speaking to see what they've done differently. And if it's a case of, like, you know, maybe expanding your range of what you do, then that's what you need to do. Like with anything, it's the survival of the most adaptable. Generally,
Yeah.
is what is how businesses keep going. You have to adapt to what's happening,
I mean,
whether
let's
or
just
not.
not go domestic, like commercially. Like, I'm interested in, obviously a lot of domestic sparks. What's this program in the chat? Yeah, but what about the commercial sector? Is that, I don't know. I'm not in the commercial sector. I don't know anyone in the commercial space very much, so I don't really know what's going on there. Like, if anyone can feed anything about that, let us know. Industrial wise, I think there's always a plot, but I think industrial sparkies are the lowest of the low. I think there's a lot of people going to industrial spark because they think it's cool. I think the pay and conditions in it are some of the worst going.
Well, I'll say that about subby sparks. That is the easiest, but it's the lowest form of sparking. Even though you have to be, even though you don't even have to be good, really. You just got to turn up on time and do your job. There are some excellent sparks that work in that field, and there's some, like, and it's taught me everything I know now. Like, my domestic work is super neat and super level and all that sort of stuff, because I never wanted the piss taken out of me for doing a shit job on a site. So I believe in right angles, making sure everything's level and stuff like that. That's a real big thing for me. So when I do the domestic work, people like other tradesmen are usually blown away by how neat it is. I don't think I'm not a particularly neat person. It's just the way I've done it through commercial and industrial. Like, if you put up a bit of uni and it's pissed, everyone's just gonna coat you off, because it's quite a toxic environment in the as a
Oh yeah,
subby
yeah, yeah.
on the
Subbies in. There's
anyone
no.
wants to jump on you for any little thing. If you haven't done this bit, oh, look at, you ain't even followed the end properly or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You have to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's if you don't want to get a coating on those jobs.
I'm
So
so far out of that job. I wouldn't know. I mean, it's last time I worked in that kind of environment was
I
10,
am
15 years ago.
Yeah, I'm out of it now. So when I go and do domestic jobs, I'm my same sort of level of detail and finishing is at the same level. So I do quite well on that. The I just find it so, like, I love doing the domestic stuff. I absolutely love it. I
So I'd
love the
rather.
lifestyle.
I cannot stand it. I
Mate,
cannot
I
stand it
love
whatsoever.
everything to do with it. I love the lifestyle. I love the fact that I can take my daughter to work take my daughter to work with me if I want.
I can work my child.
Listen,
Get
she come
paid
to work with me the other day. It's on my
charging for
Instagram.
two men.
Um, I love the fact that I can take her to school, pick her up, take my wife out for lunch. I'm my own boss. I love everything to do with it. I love the fact that you can work a couple of 3 hours a day and earn 200 quid and then 200 quid there. And all of a sudden, but for me, the biggest problem at the moment is the amount of work coming in. It's just not enough. I can see the potential. It's going to provide me everything I need. It's just getting it to that level where I'm getting like 4 or 5 days booked up a week. I just can't do it at the moment. I
I
don't know
can't
what's
stand
going on.
anything. I can't stand anything that involves plaster or the general public. Like, both of
Yeah,
them
I
irritate me. I can't be
see. I'm a
dealing with it.
people person though, so I do all right.
Yeah, but that's why I like machinery work, because when I go there, they're like, chit chat with the operator, see what's been going on, fix it. I like all that kind of stuff, but I can't be doing it. I am a snob. I'm an engineer snob. I can't be fucked to deal with the general public that get my tits. Like,
Do
I'd
you know what I
rather
can't stand about house bashing is rewires. Not interested in doing them.
re-eat wire.
Not
Like,
interested.
oh, just left all my clothes out in the bed. Hopefully you'll enjoy Chelsea my sockets in. I can't be doing any of it. Even though it's funny to find a massive dong behind the bed when you pull it out on a rewire. I just can't be asked the general public, can't be asked with plastic, can't be asked with dust, can't be asked with operating where someone lives. Just drives me bonkers. I'd rather be up to my knees in grease and cack
Yeah,
just fixing the machine.
I just think the money you can earn from house bashing, like if you're at £50 an hour, you do 3 hours work, it's 150 quid. Like, you can't go wrong for that, honestly. And it's not like you're grafting your nuts out for it. You're just sort of plodding along, doing a good job. I just don't see. I just don't see a better way of earning the money in terms of what I'm doing. Never going to get rich from doing it unless you scale it up and you have 4 or 5 people working for you. But
Mm.
I can't get enough work for one person, let alone 4 or 5 people at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
There's a bit of a weird situation because there is a bit of a lull. I've seen a lot of people talk about this lull. Now, I said in April, I think April's the new January, but obviously May and June isn't the new fucking January, is it? Like, it's
No.
getting a bit long. It's getting a bit worse and it's getting a bit long. So, be interesting how it pans out. That's why I keep in with the machinery stuff. One of the machine jobs I'm doing at the minute is for a distributor of groceries. So, like, that's not good away. People need to eat. So, like, that's a good little trade to be in. But you got to look at what the people you work for do now as well. Like, oh, are they a reliable firm? Like, I'm doing some work for a Bitcoin mining firm. Well, you're not really there long. Whereas people have to eat, people have to buy materials and stuff. So I don't know which way it's going, but give us any feedback because I can't quite work it out. I mean, normally get a good vibe for it, but at the minute I don't know what's happening.
And someone's just said here, ZK Electrical, house bashing is some hard work. I don't think so. I think
Too hard for me.
pretending to work on site for 8 hours, avoiding this dickhead supervisor, and sitting in the toilet watching your phone because you can't be bothered to be out on site. That I can't go back to that. I would hate to go back to that. I would feel like my world has ended to go back to that. I turn up, I do a good job, I charge the right money, what I feel, what I like to charge, and I do all right, and I love it.
The
I
one good thing about
literally
domestic
love
is
it.
the one good thing about domestic is you're just dealing with a person and you can work out that person, work out whether they're a dickhead or whether they're all right, and you can deal with them in the right way. One of the problems I find is when I go into places, when I'm in other companies' workshops and other companies' sites, is it all gets a little bit political. That's one of the bad things about doing industrial, commercial, and machinery repairs. It's like, oh, who's this coming here to tell us how to do our job? You get a bit of that going off, and that can be a bit of an annoyance. But I tell them to
Yeah,
ignore it. But
I
yeah,
mean,
if people make it fun, don't they? And if you're working anywhere with dickheads, it's going to be a bad day out.
yeah, I don't know. What's this? John Fuller's agreed, take pride, and that's the difference. Fat Sam, uh, both take pride, and that's the difference between what I think and what Fat Sam just described. Domestic 10 years, industrial now, never been happier. See, like Kevin Osborne's now doing the industrial, and he's over the moon with it.
The
See,
grass is always greener, isn't it? The grass
yeah,
is always
this is
greener.
it. This is it. See, I couldn't possibly go back to doing that sort of skulking around on site, doing a bit of work, then going sitting in some stinking little rat hole for lunch.
Where there's a chair.
Like eating you've got to find a chair, and then you're eating your sandwiches packed. Like, I can't be doing it, bruv. I could never go back to it. I'd hate it.
If I get a good job, the day just flies by. But if you get a bad job, it doesn't. But I'm quite lucky because I get to. Sometimes I'm down in the office doing a bit of admin. Sometimes down doing a bit of design. Sometimes I might be doing some advice. Someone I might go do some power logging or monitoring. I get a real good variety, which keeps me busy. But I enjoy that. I enjoy then it getting sex by teaching that. But if you are just banging ass out all day long, I think I'd go mad now at this stage of my career.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm happiest when I've got like 3 or 4 jobs in a day where it's like a couple of hour jobs. I love them. And then you're in, you do a little job, they're happy, you get paid, nice bit of cash, bosh, off you go. I love that. Maybe it's time to do a PAYE job. The problem is you can't earn enough money on a PAYE job. I couldn't run my house on 40 grand a year. I
We had
can't
this
do it.
conversation. Me and Mama said the conversation today. Yeah, I just want to reiterate this, just so it's on the fucking thing. Yeah, when I was an apprentice, when I was in my 4 year apprenticeship, I can't remember exactly when. Yeah, the top bracket for tax was 50 grand. Today at 42, the top bracket for tax is 40 grand. Sorry, 50 grand. Yeah, I've been 20 years ago that was, and still at 50 grand, I start paying 4% tax. I could have. I was on 54 grand at my last place, which came out about 60 a year. And I weren't having an opulent lifestyle. It's not enough. They need to move that
It's
fucking
not
tax
enough.
bracket up. We're being held down. Trades, particularly, and skilled people, have been held down by that £54,000 thing. Because after that, is it 50 grand? I can't remember. But after that 50 grand, you just get taxed. You're only getting half the money. It literally was. I was better off. I said over again. I was better off working local pub for cash. I come out with more money.
Yeah, so even if you go on at 40 grand, say you take a job 45 grand a year for a basic entry level spark, yeah, or even a management spark at 50 grand a year. You do any overtime, You're better off going and doing a second job somewhere for cash. Any overtime ain't worth doing now.
Not worth it. Over 40. If you're on a salary of 50, which I was at my last place when I first started, because it went up after that, I was like, there's like, you doing overtime? I was like, no, I don't know. I used to have Fridays off. I used to do toil. I'd go out to a site and do three late nights, and have Thursday and Friday off. We weren't doing any overtime. They're like, you can't keep doing this. It's like, well, I'm only contracted to 40 hours a week, and I'm not going to go and do overtime and basically get in my hand at the end of that £12.50. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, and so I don't know. But then again,
that's what's fucking the trader, because when you're on about earning, no one wants to go to management. It's because of that. Because they might offer you a good screw, but it's not, because the tax knackers it up. Because for 20 years, the tax level's not changed.
But then when you look at the other side of it, a friend of mine, all right, it's not a sparking company, but it's a landscaping company, right? He is worth 150 grand. His company's worth. He's just had it valued. He's selling it. He's like, I'm selling it because all I find myself doing is paying tax. If it's corporation tax, if it's this tax, it's that tax. All he's doing is paying tax. He said, like, probably every pound I make, I pay 60 quid in tax. 60p in tax.
He ought to go and get a PIYE job, because he realises not much. He ain't any better.
No, that's what he's saying. He's
about
like
to bin it all off, and then realise that when he goes to PIYE, he's fucked. When I went PIYE, because I was from just before COVID, I went on the books PIYE at the printers, at the power station, at the energy firm. Got sacked virtually from all of them, but I never closed my limited company down, because I knew eventually I was going to go back there, because the PAYE jobs, they're just not for me anyway. And I don't think you can make the money in them. Like I say, even if you go up to a manager on 50 grand a year, doing your overtime, getting nothing, it's bollocks. They need to look at how skilled people in the UK get paid, what they get paid, and they need to do something like that top end tax bracket, in my opinion, because it's just not encouraging anyone to move. That's why we can't, as a company, we can't finish any major infrastructure projects, because we've got a lot of wankers in management, basically.
But it's not just that. It's like when you're trying to build like entrepreneurs, the tax system is also built so you can't be a successful entrepreneur. Like you look at him, he employs 4 people. He's got his company.
Yeah, when he started employing people, he starts to be a big pain in the arse, because now they brought in like mandatory pensions. Once they brought the mandatory pensions, I thought that I was like, oh fuck, I'm not employing anyone anymore. So I don't employ anyone anymore. That's my rule. I just get subbies in. But when you employ people, it does turn to a bit of a clusterfuck. But as a one-man limited company, I find limited companies are the best way to pay less tax. But you need to employ
for sure. Accountant. But he's paying corporation tax, VAT, the whole lot. He's like, mate, honestly.
Yeah, but you're charging for VAT. I don't know why people get upset about VAT. You add it onto what you charge, and then you give it away. Like
I think it's the way it comes round, and then how hard it is to get your VAT back off the government, and those periods where you've paid it out and now you've got to get it back, and all that sort of stuff. Those periods can really be quite damaging to a company. The cash flow periods.
I'm asking a simple question now. Yeah, is this podcast going to end soon, or am I going to go to the toilet on air?
It's up to you, mate.
Phil.
Oh, Jamie's going. No, so yeah, I wonder what it is about the tax system that is so detrimental to building a business. And this is why we need someone like Quinergy to be on the pod, because he's built this business. I think he's got like 40 employees and stuff like that, and he'll have a good handle on how difficult it actually is to build a business. Like even Savo was moans about going VAT registered, because although people say, yeah, you can get your VAT back from the government, you can charge it back and stuff like that, I think it's a massive ball ache. And if you're a one-man band or even got a couple of people working for you, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze fannying about with that. Then you get hit with corporation tax, then you get hit with this, and then another bill, and all of a sudden that money that you think you've got just isn't yours. So a whole load of your turnover goes straight to the tax man or goes to some other bullshit. I think this is very difficult. I think it's very difficult. Have to watch everyone late one tonight. Have to watch back tomorrow. Yeah, well,
sorry about that. I couldn't anyway because Sam started the podcast without really telling me he was going to start. I didn't go to a talk beforehand,
mate. What I remember, thanks all to Dan. Well, you're a bit late on that one, mate. Thanks, but yeah, well done, Mark, for that.
Welcome to last week, Mark. Thanks for that.
threshold dealing with domestic.
But
yeah, again, Savo makes a great point.
I don't know if that is a great point, and my argument for that is now that everything's so expensive, and the VAT threshold. What's the VAT threshold nowadays? Has it gone up? With renewables and that, you've got to be VAT, but I think the VAT threshold gone up. But to answer me this, why is the threshold for paying VAT not gone up, but the threshold for paying more tax hasn't gone up?
No, but what I'm saying is,
even normal domestic spark.
Yeah, but with the VAT, if you
Googling it now,
like, how can I compete if I'm paying VAT? Compete with you, who's not paying VAT at a domestic level?
Oh, it's 90 grand now. So the VAT threshold for 2024 is £90,000, up from £85,000. Yeah. So riddle me this: how come the VAT threshold's gone up? When I started in business, it was 50 grand. So how's it gone up from 50 grand to 90 grand? In 20 years, it's gone up for £40,000, but the upper rate tax has stayed the same. Why do they acknowledge one needs raising and not the other one? It's because it causes too much work for the government they don't want. But like that's a prime example of HMRC upping one thing, not the other. They should all rise in line with inflation, or at least not just be random like that. But obviously, if you do renewables, you've got to be VAT. You've got no choice because your materials cost so much money.
Oh yeah, I don't know, mate. I think that and that's 90k on turnover. That's not 90k on profit. So
I mean, if you want to do domestic, stuff, you definitely want to keep out of VAT or do your best to avoid it. But if you want to work commercially, if you're not VAT, people think you're not serious. You've got to be VAT. So it drives a wedge in there. You either do work for big boys and big companies, or you do domestic work, because each one opposes the other. Like, big companies don't want to work for you if you're not VAT registered.
Is that right? Is it? I didn't know that.
Generally, like, a company's going to go, "Oh, what's your VAT number?" You go, "I got them." They go, "Well, you mean you're not VAT registered? What kind of small?" It just says, "I'm a little small boy. Please, you can't trust me." So most companies, if you're not VAT registered, like, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Unless you're a very, very specialist person, in which case you're charging loads of money, making more than 90 grand anyway. So it's just not a good vibe.
I've got something to ask you. How the fuck is all your qualifications working out for you right now, dickhead?
Well, I've got no fucking mortgage. That's about that. I've got no mortgage.
No, but like, in terms of work, what could you be doing differently to get work now?
Well, the thing is, when I put a CV in, it's got eng tech and letters and all that, and it does get you more sway in the PAY area. And I suppose the crack is that if I ever want to go back and get a job, it makes it easier for me to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I put a job in, it's got CN, I'm not CN, fucking hell, eng tech on it. I should do my eng really, and I'm an IT member, and I've got all my qualifications, and it looks good. But then they find out I'm a massive dick, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want him working for us." So I'm better off working in the self-employed space. But I don't think it does me any harm. But I think more people should do their ING, CNG and all that, because I just think I get you. I still think people linger around the bottom. I keep saying it. Too many people linger around the bottom. Like, go up the ladder a bit, do things different, find another trade. Like, subcontract. Don't be a subcontract. I don't know. So if you've got the skills and you're going to go on your own, I'm afraid everyone does domestic to get going. But like, go, right, you know what I'm going to do? In 3 years' time, I want to be a subcontract jointer or a subcontract cable terminator, because everyone's pissing in the same pot at the minute. I want to be a domestic sparking on my own. Great, I'm not got anything against them. Not anything against people doing that, but it's not very aspirational, and it doesn't filter people through the trade. Like, go and find something that's hard to do and do that. That's what I sort of did.
So, do you know what's funny? I have been thinking about, what can I do that no one else is doing at the moment? Like,
so I do machinery. So I know I've not been on this podcast that long, but the last company I worked for was a generator company, and then I worked at a power station. I worked for Apprentices. Yeah, I'm a machinery engineer, but that sort of easily flips into an electrical ECNR engineer, electrical controls and instrumentation engineer. But I was a sparker. I went to work for Blue Circle Cement, and I worked on all the packaging machinery that puts cement into plastic bags. I'm a machinery engineer, a process engineer, and I've just gone back into that because at the minute there's money in it, so I just dive back into it. But people need to go when they come out of time and go, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "I make good money as a sparker." I say to people, "Go and work in maintenance in a couple of factories, see what tickles your fancy." And then you'll find something that you like, or like, "Oh, it's fucking really fun repairing this or doing that." But people just want to seem to not do that. And they're crying out people in technical roles.
See, the thing with what you're doing is, it's like a lot of what you'll do is you're sub for other companies that got the contract.
Yeah, I do a lot of direct work. I'm looking after customers that I've been looking after for 15 years still, doing really weird stuff like making Windows XP computers for them and real odd shit like that, because a lot of process stuff is so expensive, people don't upgrade. So I've got a couple of computers over there that I'm putting Windows XP on for someone. That's a good little earner, that is. But jobs like that are very, very niche. You couldn't set up a company doing that. You wouldn't get anywhere. But I'm still servicing, and people go, "Oh, Jamie does that, you know. He does weird shit like that." Or, "Oh, this old machine." Someone in the room go, "Got an old machine." I'll be like, "What is it?" They go, "Oh, such." To go, like, "Oh, yeah, I've worked on them." They go, "Yeah, this guy said you had." My name gets round, but not as much as you think. It's not like I'm not. There's not. It's very, very niche work. It's very, very good money, but there's not a lot of it about. So it
See,
just depends.
for me, I think where I live, it's about getting into caravan maintenance. I really do. And maybe caravan renewables and all that sort of stuff. I think that might be the one.
That could be a good one, like little renewables things for fucking
Like
caravans. Get a
like
niche. I think
solar panels on a caravan with a EV charger and maybe a battery storage on the outside of the caravan. That might be the move, mate. Because a lot of people going on these little caravan holidays might have an EV where they're going to charge it.
that's a good point. It feels on this podcast like you know, it was less professional. It feels like I used to always be saying like get a niche trade, get a niche trade. It's not, we're not saying that for a long time, but still think that's a secret. Like people need to. There's so much work in the electrical space, but everyone goes, "Oh, do domestic, commercial, industrial." There's loads more than that. Like you're not making any money.
There
Move on.
is. Like yeah, you could earn 1,200 quid a day doing machine stuff and things like that. You could easily do that if you get the right job and you can leverage them.
Someone in
Brilliant.
there said they did the comp on Ben Jenkins said he wants to do his complex. I went and did that course just for the crack. It's fucking hard.
The complex
It's
course.
hard. It's hard. I failed the test. I failed the inspection part of it. Passed everything else, but failed the inspection part.
Do you know what might be good is the ATEX course.
That's complex. ATEX, same thing.
Oh, is it?
Although I am on a couple of Facebook groups for complex and ATEX, and they're saying the money's being driven down. But
Why? How?
because it was a very, very skilled job. Back in the day, it's a very, very skilled job involving really specialist equipment, pyro. But as more clever manufacturing things have come along, you can now use a fuel farm, for example, would have all been done in pyro. Very skilled job. That's now they're all in SWA because they've improved the glands and the box and stuff. So it's sort of got easier to do and more people have come into it. But it's still quite a sought after trade. But it has been driven down a little bit in the past few years because people tried to get into it. It's a very easy jump from being a industrial energy electrician into being a complex electrician. I think a lot of people have took that chance.
Yeah,
but offshore, they still get good money. Still get good money offshore.
Yeah, you say that, but we were talking about this the other day. I quite fancy like trying to find how to get on the wind farms. I can see the wind farm from my window. So that would be quite a good little side hustle for me to have as part of my business is maybe I don't know, a couple of days a month going out and doing some electrical stuff on the wind farm. But you were saying the money's been driven down on that.
Sparkies used to go out and fit them out at sea. Now they fit them out on the shore with cheaper Sparkies. So they take the wind farm out pre-made. One of the good earners on there is complex inspections and HV SAPs, but you only need one of them for a whole farm. But unfortunately, like back in the day, they used to take a wind farm out, plug it into the floor, and they'd fit it out inside, do a lot of electrical work inside. Now, because obviously that's when the subsidies were there. Now the subsidies are gone. They're all prefab. They take them out, sunk to the seabed, put the cable in, and that's it. It's all been done offshore, as you would do anything. But everything, when the subsidies are there, they rinse it. When they've gone, they come up with savvy new ways to do it. So I think Siemens have got a windshore manufacturing plant in Grimsby, where most of the people putting electrical work in won't be electricians. Simple
Yeah, a lot of the prefab modular stuff. I mean, a lot of the houses they're building now are prefab modular. They like even the brick walls are like they build the brick walls in a factory and send them out bit by bit.
Every McDonald's is prefabbed in the factory. There's a company near me, Caledonian Modular. Never worked for them, but they've gone bankrupt about 4 times. But they do make prefab stuff. They make all sorts: prefab prisons, prefab schools, prefab dormitories. And again, a lot of the work in there probably not done by an electrician, probably just done by semi-skilled people, because it's not actually getting tested, it gets assembled. They'll have someone test it and inspect it. So prefab is a great thing for saving money for me as a firm. I do a lot of it, but it's not great for staff because I prefab a lot of stuff I do on jobs because I can be 2 men then, if that makes sense. If I go to a job and I've got to put it together and then fit it, that and they might need 2 people. If I prefab it off site, I can go on my own. So I'll put people out work myself by prefabbing a lot.
Do you know what? That's my little caravan idea is maybe not too bad because you wouldn't have to You wouldn't have to have a connection back to the grid either, would you? It would just be a standalone system, wouldn't it?
The problem is, because I'm obviously a big player in the game of caravans, having a caravan, I'm just going to tell all my caravan friends not to use you because you've been slagging caravans off so long. So you're probably going to fail.
But would you have to have an MCS? Do you think?
I think you'd be wasting your time. Well, I think MCS is a con anyway, but if you want to sell up to the grid, you need it. But if you're doing little installations on a caravan, like a little 5 kilowatt battery, a little solar panel, you don't need MCS, do you? Because they're not going to be interested in selling it back. They've only got a 6 amp supply anyway. So they just want to make enough to run their own thing. So yeah, maybe that has got legs. But you'd also have to find out special things about putting solar panels on top of a caravan, wouldn't you? And adding the weight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's some minor details, isn't it?
It's not, because a caravan company make a caravan exactly as strong as it needs to be. They don't allow for a load of solar panels being on top of it. So you might.
But who knows? There might already be a solution, bro.
Well, you have got.
And when you look at these static homes, not necessarily a caravan that you pull along, but the static.
That's what I mean. The static one. That's what I was referring to. Static ones.
Oh, I don't like him today. Not worth MCS. See, Half House have done it for years. Listen, don't shit on my new idea. Right.
MCS is just another quango in it, like just another load of shit, basically.
Well, big shout out to Azuri Electrical. They have just become MCS registered, or what is MCS accredited. He's on the big bucks now, old Libbo.
Very tight shop, MCS. For example, you can't retrofit apply MCS. Only you can do it. So in some ways, you've got to respect, because they tied up. So the Sparky who does that work has to buy it, install it, and certify it, and it can have MCS. You can't like do these. It's not like you can just go and do an MCS someone. So in that way, it's pretty good. But I don't like the fact that I put my own solar up. It produces electricity, but the grid won't buy it because I'm not MCS. That seems like a bit of a quango to me. Like, what's wrong with my electricity? They'll take it off me for free. They took 7 kilowatts off me for free today, but they won't pay me for it because my install's not MCS.
Do you know we're getting spammed today on the chat? There's a lot of stupidity going on in the chat, and I've had to delete a few people off.
But what?
That aren't our usual people, but they're just on there.
Oh, you mean you've got some
energy?
You've got some what, like Samsung 7888.
Yeah, I've just deleted them.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm guessing they're not a Sparky.
Yeah,
got some spam because we've been on a bit longer. Maybe the bots have found us.
Yeah, we've been botted up. Right, tonight has been an odd one. No one's bought any of my t-shirts, so whatever.
Yeah.
Right, I'm out. We're out.
Adios.
Been an odd one.
74 people.
Yeah, it's been an odd one. Electricians Podcast. We are out. Maybe next week will be better. Hopefully, we'll have
a guest of some sort.
Well, what's his name? Quinergy. Main man.
What a cough button, so you heard that.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.